Well, we have a good turnout, and so I'm going to go ahead and get started tonight. Welcome, everyone. I'm Cindy Gustafson. I'm the 5th District Supervisor for Placer County, and we really appreciate people turning out tonight for the virtual town hall, and really appreciate the partnership with Caltrans District 3 office. We have our representatives here tonight to do a presentation on the summer construction, as well as our own Department of Public Works will be presenting tonight. It's so important that we disseminate this information because it is going to be a truly busy summer. And we need all of you helping us inform the public and be prepared for the delays and impacts we're going to have from summer construction. And so I want to thank everyone for attending. We are recording this session, and so we'll be able to have a link. And for those of you who might belong to a homeowners association or want to share this with your neighbors and friends who couldn't join us, we'll have that link for you so they can have the information. And then we're going to ask you to type your questions into the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, and then we'll facilitate those questions as they come up. And before we get started, on a really sad note, tragedy, I wanted to remind everyone, all of you out there that might have kids or grandkids or yourselves, that e-motorcycles, what we call really motorcycles now, e-bikes, off-road vehicles, are very dangerous. We had a fatality just yesterday in the Applegate area with an 11-year-old girl, lost her life, not wearing a helmet in an off-road vehicle. I talked to the CHP today, and these accidents are happening all around us, e-bike collisions with kids who are 13, 14 years old. So I just wanted to start out with that somber note. Please, please be educated on that. If you see things, let us know so that we can remind the parents and others that helmets are essential, and these are dangerous vehicles that people are using. And often we see kids, underage kids, using them, not prepared for driving. So sorry to start this out on a sad note, but it was a tragedy right here in our 5th district, and I just wanted to remind everyone. So with that, let's go to our summer construction season, and I am very thankful to Caltrans for being here tonight. John O'Connell, our Public Information Officer from District 3, and Jeremy Linder, Public Information Officer for District 3. And I'm not sure who's leading off, but thank you for being here. We really appreciate Caltrans and working with us to get outreach to our communities.
Thank you so much for having us. We definitely appreciate it. Let me go ahead. I'm going to start sharing my screen here real quick, and then John's going to kickstart us off.
All right. Yeah, thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate that. Okay, so yeah, my name's John O'Connell, Caltrans District 3 Public Information Officer. So Jeremy handles like the I-80 side, the Placer, Nevada County part. And then I handle the Lake Tahoe Basin and El Dorado County. So we kind of share and go back and forth. And yeah, we're both pretty busy between the snow and the winter. And now we transition to construction season. So go ahead, Jeremy, you can go to the next one. So this year, thankfully, I-80, at least on the eastern side of Donner Summit, isn't too busy this year. Most of the action's on the other side of the hill. But we do have this restriping project that will start probably early May. It's just to refresh the striping on the roadway, westbound direction only, which has been worn off, due to weather and chains and all the heavy truck traffic. So there will be various lane closures at times, potential delays of up to 20 minutes. Hopefully some of this work can occur, on the off-peak hours as well. So it shouldn't be too traffic interfering. So again, this is westbound I-80. So if you're coming from Reno into Truckee, as soon as you get to the so it's between the agriculture station and the Highway 89 intersection there in Truckee. So it's just that section. All right, go ahead, Jeremy. Go to the next one. Okay, so let's go over to the Tahoe Basin now, where all the action is, especially Highway 28. which will be kind of the star of the show this year. So we have the Middle Mile Broadband Project, which started last year, and it's going to finish up this summer. In fact, they just started today with doing some prep work for it. So you might see them out there. You might have seen them out there today. You'll see them out there this week. So this is Tiger Construction that's doing this, and this is a statewide initiative that's bringing high-speed internet into more rural communities. So a lot of rural state highways are dealing with this summer. So it's not just Tahoe. But this project between Tahoe City and 267 in Kings Beach, it's actually going to go all the way to the state line, but that's the next slide. So this is starting now, about 50% done. They're working in the eastbound direction. Yeah, there'll be multiple locations with, with potential up to 30-minute delays. So that's, yeah, if you experienced it last summer, it's going to happen again this summer. Same kind of thing. All right, go ahead to the next slide. This is the continuation of it. It's a different contractor, so that's why I separated them. This is Arcadian. It's going to pick it up from 267 in Kings Beach and go to Crystal Bay there at the state line, just that small section. They're also going to start. They haven't started this yet, so they're probably going to start this one early May and go to August, obviously. And this is always weather permitting too. If we do get some freak snowstorm, that's going to kind of halt things a little bit. Or if we get thunderstorms, as we often do in the spring and summer up there. But supposed to start early May, and this will go, to the state line. And same thing, traffic control at various locations with potential delays of up to 30 minutes, depending on, the time of day and how much the traffic is. All right, go to the next one. All right, so the one we've all been waiting for. So once the broadband is done, we are going to start with basically repaving 28 from one end to the other, from Tahoe City to Kings Beach, or all the way to the state line. This is supposed to start early May, so this will come behind, the broadband. And the section in Tahoe City is going to be, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, it's going to be a pain, because we have to dig it out all the way, because the road is so damaged that we have to do what are called complete dig outs all the way down to the very foundation, the dirt, and rebuild the highway from the bottom up in Tahoe City, just Tahoe City. And we're going to do that in various sections, so it won't all be going on at the same time. This is going to start early May as well, and we're hoping to do the Tahoe City part first before the tourism season really gets going. So Tahoe City, it's going to be kind of rough come, May, Memorial Day into June, hopefully be out of there by the end of June. That's the goal. The rest of 28 will just be a simple mill and overlay repave from there out to the state line. So Tahoe City is the most complex spot, not just because of what we're doing, but because obviously of all the shops and restaurants and businesses and things there. So I'll get to more details of how you guys can keep up with that. But yeah, expect delays. It's going to be, it's going to be kind of messy, to be honest with you, for about 6 weeks in Tahoe City. Some more broadband. This is very similar to 28. This is going to be going south along 89 from Tahoe City all the way down, not just to the Y, but all the way down to Alpine County. This will be a 2-year project. And basically all they're doing is just putting in cable into the road, broadband cable. This is going to start, I think it's going to start next week, again, weather permitting, and go as long as they can before it starts snowing next winter, so November, and then pick it up again in 26. High-speed internet along the West Shore, again, potential traffic control delays of up to 30 minutes. And it's also going north. So this is out of Truckee going north up to Sierra County. So same routine, potential 30-minute delays in various spots, going all the way up to the Plumas County line, starting next week, and then going through the summer and fall, and then picking up again next year. This part of 89 is not as heavily traveled as the Tahoe Basin, so hopefully traffic will not be as bad or as affected on this route because it's a little more rural, and it's not, it's not the Tahoe Basin. All right, go ahead and go to the next one. All right, back to Tahoe City. There's another major project that's going to be occurring later this summer, and we are going to replace the Fanny Bridge, which I believe is about 100 years old. So just the bridge there across the river is going to get basically rebuilt. Prep work will start in June. So a lot of the the pilings and all this stuff underneath the bridge will get done first. So that won't affect traffic. But the full closure is expected to begin August 11th. That's what it's scheduled for as of now. It'll be about 12 weeks. So end of summer. So kind of towards the tag end of tourism season, this is when this will start. And traffic will be shifted over to the new-ish Lake Boulevard bypass. So hopefully this will not be as traffic interfering as the paving project, because people can simply take that other way around there. But probably the first week will be a little rough because people probably will not be that's why we're doing outreach to try and get the word out. But some people probably won't be aware of what's going on. But you can take that bypass up to Truckee or take it to 28 and go to Kings Beach, Tahoe Vista from there. And just the bridge will be closed. So the transit center will remain open. All the businesses, the bridge tender restaurant, all that will remain open. The pedestrian path across the dam will be open, so you can still walk across that way if you want to. It's just the bridge, the highway bridge itself, just that short thing will be closed, for 12 weeks. So we hope to get it done by, 1st of November, Halloween, around there, and before winter sets in. And yeah, all right, go to the next one. I think that might be it for me. Okay, all right, Jeremy, you're up.
Yeah. So we all know that obviously quite a few people traverse back and forth across eastern and western Placer County. Interstate 80 being the one main artery that's critical, not only for recreational traffic, but for commercial traffic as well. So we're reminding people about some of the larger projects that we have going on right now. And if you were keeping an eye on the weekly traffic alerts that our office was sending out last year, you're probably going to be very familiar with these, because these projects are continuing from last season. So the first one heading west from the Tahoe Basin is going to be the Soda Springs Pavement Rehabilitation Project. That's stretching both eastbound and westbound I-80 between Troy and Soda Springs. It's expected to pick back up this season sometime later, either this month or early May. They are still seeing a little bit of snow melt in the area. And of course, being that close to Donner Summit, you still have that potential of a late season storm. So we're keeping an eye on that weather forecast. Ultimately, we're rehabilitating the roadway, both directions, also constructing a new truck climbing lane eastbound. And because we're doing that, we have to replace the Kingvale undercrossing and the Troy Road undercrossing right before Kingvale. So that's actually what the picture is. There on the bottom left hand of the screen is the Troy undercrossing, some of the work that was done last year. So we concentrated on the far left-hand lanes, actually reconstructing what will be the new number 1 lane. And then now crews are going to be transitioning to the other side. So motorists will be utilizing some of that new concrete that was poured last season. We do have temporary K-rail in place, so most of the action should be on the other side of that K-rail. So it shouldn't impact traffic too much, but you might still expect delays anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes, depending on if there's various lane closures on top of what is needed for worker safety and for the traveling public safety. The big one that started up last week, it's been in the news headlines, and ultimately what we're trying to get the word out the most is the Yuba Pass Separation Overhead Bridge Project. So that's right there, Interstate 80 between Yuba Gap and the junction of State Route 20. We started, and currently we are seeing delays along eastbound 80 only through this stretch, upwards to about an hour. So it's currently down to just a single lane on this span till about the end of Thursday. From there, crews are actually constructing what's called a crossover. So once that crossover goes in place, all of that eastbound traffic will get shifted over into the eastbound lanes. So we'll have 2 lanes both direction running on a single span of the bridge, because this is the spot where the bridge separates into 2 different spans. We'll have that crossover in place this season while crews work to demolish and rebuild the eastbound span, get things back in order, take a break again for winter, and then we are expected to come back the following season in 2026 and do the same thing again, this time on the westbound side. So the nice thing is once that crossover traffic gets into place later this week, that delay of an upwards to hour should get mitigated. We should go back to near normal. The traffic speed is reduced down to 55 miles per hour throughout the construction site. So you might have a few slowdowns, but shouldn't be anywhere near to that 1 hour delay that some motorists have been experiencing right now. So again, we're anticipating that switch late Thursday night, possibly early Friday morning, if the contractor needs a little bit more work. So we can start replacing that bridge, which is ultimately the reason why we're doing it, is so the new bridges that we're putting in will be able to withstand heavier loads. So we increase the load capacity that will be allowed for Interstate 80, which is really good for those heavy load, those permitted traffics. Like I said, I-80 being a main artery for commercial goods, it was very important that we be able to keep that up to date and be able to withstand those heavier loads to move goods in and out of the state and even further west towards the Bay Area. The last main project along Interstate 80, this is going to be the Monte Vista Pavement Rehabilitation Project. So this is stretching near the Alta area, so between Dutch Flat, Monte Vista, and Drum Forebay. Also kicked off just about a week ago. We're continuing work from last season to rehabilitate the roadway. Also constructing a truck climbing lane in this section in the eastbound direction and upgrading the median barrier. This one is a little bit more interesting because of the way it weaves in and out with the topography. We do have various lane closures in place and traffic shifts where if the keen eye is paying attention, you may notice at one point you could be traveling in what was the center divide, and then at one point you're back to the normal lanes, and that goes back and forth whether you're in the eastbound or the westbound lane. So you'll notice those various shifts, and that was all that our crew can basically utilize what space was available and to construct that eastbound lane. So you'll have a slightly different variation than someone might be used to. Still most of the work behind temporary K-rail, but you could potentially see some delays up to about 20 minutes with this project. So the good news is these are the three large projects for Interstate 80. We mentioned the restripe westbound in the Truckee area as well. There is no emergency work. So unlike last year where we were saying delays up to 2 hours for the entire corridor, it should be much more manageable this year. Collectively, if you go through all three projects, you should hopefully not experience delays near that 1 hour mark. You may get close depending on traffic volumes, but all three contractors are working very closely with one another to try to mitigate that, especially for the weekend traffic that goes in and out of the Tahoe area all season long. Which ultimately brings us to the conclusion of our presentation. Obviously, it seems like a lot, but it is manageable. John and I, we try to do our very best, keeping everyone up to date. Social media, you've got both our cell phone and our email numbers there. You are free to reach out to us at any time with questions. We're sending out weekly updates once again this season. So if you'd like to get on those email lists, contact us and we'll definitely add you guys on and keep you apprised, especially for those that maybe they utilize some of the rest of the highways in Western Placer County. I know, Supervisor, you have another meeting next month for them. There will be more work in the western half of Placer County. So definitely keep an update on social media and our email list, and ultimately use QuickMap. That's the biggest advice. You hear us say it a lot during winter operations, and it holds true during summer mode as well. If you missed one of our emails, pull up QuickMap. That's going to show you in real time where those lane closures are, and so you can anticipate some of those delays.
Great. Well, thank you, Jeremy and John. We have a few questions, and I guess I'm going to be adding some time to my commute to Auburn through all these. So I had a question on what about any work on the section of Highway 89 from Tahoe City to Truckee? Are there any projects in that section?
That is supposed to be scheduled for next summer, a repave of 89 from Alpine Meadows up to West River Street, that stoplight there, right before you hit the train tracks, in Truckee. So that's on the docket for next summer.
2026, more to
Yep.
come, more to come. And then we had, what are the hours and days on the work schedule? What have you planned on that?
Yeah, so good question, because we don't work weekends, so it's good to know that usually construction will start like Sunday evenings and we'll wrap up by Friday at noon. So we are off the road Friday at noon. So Friday afternoon, when everybody comes in to Tahoe, we are done. Saturdays and Sundays, we're not working. Holidays, we're not working. I think last year, from what I recall, I believe we took the entire 4th of July week off. Wouldn't be surprised if they do that again, because that's such a busy time. So it's mostly a Monday through Thursday routine with the construction. And I also wanted to say, with regards to the traffic controls, when I say 30 minutes, it's up to 30 minutes. So we do. It doesn't have to be as many as 3, but up to 3 separate traffic controls that are spaced 3 miles apart, 10 minutes each. So potentially up to 30, worst case scenario. Although I do get calls from people if it does exceed 30, which is fine. That's why the public's at our eyes and ears sometimes. But yeah, the one-way traffic controls are up to 3. So for example, between Tahoe City and Kings Beach, you might have up to 3 spaced 3 miles apart, 10 minutes apiece.
Okay. And so that was a follow-up question that came in was,
Okay.
how do you monitor less than 30-minute delays, and do you use drones? How do you communicate those delays for control?
Yeah, I mean, we have our engineers out there keeping an eye on things, because these are contractors that are hired by us. Honestly, some do a little bit better than others. We worked with Q&D last year at the gas line project. They were fantastic, very communicative. But yeah, we have people that go out and monitor, how bad the backups are for sure. Yeah, they do use drones as well. But honestly, like, for example, like when school started last August, end of August, I got a lot of phone calls about traffic.
Yep.
And it's good that people call and complain, because honestly, sometimes that's our best source of information is the public. So what I do is I will talk to our engineer, our project managers, and they'll talk to the contractor and say, hey, you guys got to change things up, make some adjustments to your traffic control. And so that's typically how it goes. I'm kind of the first line of defense when it comes to the public, as Jeremy is as well. So when people call us, it's good, because that's how we know, and we will tell the contractor to make adjustments. So.
And there are times, obviously, very much dependent on the traffic volume as a whole. Our crews, they have the annual average daily traffic volumes that we have within the Caltrans census at their disposal to plan ahead and try to mitigate everything that we can think of in advance. Sometimes things happen, and we might see more traffic at a specific time and specific date than we anticipated. And that's where sometimes delays can creep a little bit higher than those amounts. Like John said, we're the first line defense. So definitely everyone's always free to give us a call. When John and I do field visits, obviously I'm not in the shoulder. I'm in that travel lane just like the general public. I want to experience what everyone else is experiencing, so that I know if my delay was 30 minutes, that's what anybody who calls the office is going to experience as well.
Great.
Yeah, one more thing about 28 too. There are parts of 28 that are where we can do what's called bi-directional traffic, because if it's wide enough to accommodate where we can just shift things over and keep both lanes open, we do that. Obviously, there are some parts of 28 that are too narrow to do that, so that tends to be where the problems occur. But not all of 28 will be one-way traffic control, but it just depends on where we're at. But yeah, if it's wide enough to accommodate, eastbound, westbound, we try and keep that available.
Great. There's a question in here about the Tahoe City Y, and they're questioning about the roundabout proceeding. My understanding is that is on hold, and we're contemplating other approaches for that area. That is not happening this summer. Is that correct?
That is, yeah,
Yeah.
that's correct. It's the last thing I heard as well. I heard that, yeah, it's
Yeah.
on hold, might happen, might not happen. But yeah, for now, there's no definitive plan for that. So
Are any of these projects scheduled for any nighttime work to help alleviate the traffic congestion during the days?
Yeah, quite a few of them. We try to do as much work as possible at night, especially in those more heavily traffic areas, or like around the Tahoe Basin, where you only have 2 lanes at your disposal. For Interstate 80, obviously, there's a lot more lanes. You're going to see traffic pretty much all throughout the day and night. The contractors, they have their schedule. They want to try to get as much work done as they can. And as we all know, this is a climate that can be finicky. We can have a great summer season, and then Mother Nature could kick us into high gear into winter early, or it could delay where the contractor can squeeze out a few more months. So ultimately, each project is going to be different from one another. That's when I can't stress more enough to stay on top of those updates and to even sign up for the email updates. Because John and I will break down specifically each project, what hours those lane closures are going to be in place.
yeah,
Right.
same thing. Yeah, and just I'll say 20. Like Tahoe too. It's a little bit harder to do nighttime work, although we do it. But you know, we get noise complaints sometimes if it's getting too loud, so then we have to dial things back. So it's kind of this, back and forth a little bit. But yeah, they definitely try and do nighttime work, to mitigate traffic as well. But I know what at least with the Southwest Gas project's done. But I'll point to that as an example. Like they were using equipment at night that was a little too loud for some of the residents, and we got some complaints. So we had to change things up. But it's just the way it goes.
There's two more questions here. One is just an alert that Tahoe City Public Utility District also has some projects on the West Shore, a major water line replacement in Homewood, and the bike trail reconstruction occurring. And so they may have impacts on traffic as well on the West Shore on Highway 89. And then there was a question about, will the broadband work have any impact on bike trails? There was a section of the bike trail that was closed by UC Davis right here at Lake Forest Road last summer. So
yeah, I mean, they do it, I mean, I think most of the bike trail on 89 is off the highway from what I'm just trying to think of what it looks like there. So if it is, it's brief. I mean, the broadband can move pretty quickly. So if it is affecting a bike path, I don't think the closure will last too long. So yeah, it's mostly on the shoulder of the highway is where the broadband is going in. So
well, thank you. And again, we should email you if people want to sign up for your updates directly. Our office will probably get into that mode that we did last year of every Friday sending out your updates to our newsletter list to try to help distribute that information. And of course, we said we're recording tonight so people can watch the whole presentation and get in touch with you if they have questions. So thank you again for everybody. Jeremy and John, thanks for being here. I know you have other places to be, but we'll have the presentation available. Thanks again for your participation tonight.
Of course.
And, good luck. Stay tuned. I'll be checking those 30-minute delays on Interstate 80 and Tahoe City.
Sure.
Thanks
you for having
again.
us.
And next
right.
I want to introduce, thank you. Next I want to introduce Matt Randall, our Deputy Director of Public Works for Placer County. And he's got Seth Warren, Engineering Manager up here in the Tahoe area, Andy Denkin, Engineer in our Tahoe area. And I'm probably going to screw up your name, Zario, but I think it's Mancasola. Is that right? Well, you'll correct it. Again, we have Department of Public Works projects this summer as well. I want to thank you all for being with us tonight and presenting your projects to the community. Again, put your questions in the Q&A and we'll get to them right after the presentation. Thank you. And it's all yours, Matt.
Okay, thanks, Supervisor Gustafson. We've got a snow picture up here because this is like why we do road maintenance in Tahoe, snow, the freeze thaw and all that. So wanted to kick it off with that. But again, Matt Randall here. I oversee the road maintenance and fleet operations. And in fact, why don't we go to the next slide, Jeremy? For our presentation tonight, we've broken it up into two categories here. Wanted to share a little bit about our Eastern County road maintenance and operations and things that, listening to Caltrans, you see like enormous projects that impact everybody. A lot of our work, will impact folks, but on the maintenance side, some stuff you may see, some stuff you may not, but definitely just wanted to alert everybody to some of the work that we're doing. And then the second part of our presentation, Seth, Andy, and Zario will talk about our Tahoe more specific projects and parking. So let's go to the next slide. And this is one, probably as constituents, all of you are familiar with Placer County and a lot of our road infrastructure, but just wanted to share, again, things maybe some things maybe you don't know. We've got about 1,000 miles of road throughout the county, and about 300 of those miles are in snow areas. And the majority of those snow roads are in the Tahoe area, where we've got about 175 miles. And that includes the Tahoe Basin, but also North Star, the Truckee area, and then, I don't know, yeah, I count Serene Lakes, maybe not officially part of Tahoe, but Eastern Sierra as well. And then, we've got a couple areas as far as operationally that we center all of our staff, and that's at Burton Creek and Cabin Creek. Our Colfax crew actually does the snow removal in the Serene Lakes area, but we have a small corp yard there too. And the fact that all of the equipment you see riding around summer, and I guess some of our snow equipment too, which you don't see during the summer, but we've got graders and snow blowers and sweepers and all sorts of stuff there. And probably everybody's aware that, during the winter when we do snow removal, it's really, there's our Tahoe crew, but we have folks that come from all over the county up to help with snow removal and to keep the equipment maintenance, equipment running that do all that work. But also in the summer, we actually have crews that come from the west side of the county that do things like signing and striping, and they're working. One of the things with county roads, we will stripe things in the summer, and then the plows will take off some of those stripes during the winter. So it's kind of a labor of love there, where we're doing that type of work almost annually. And then we have a project and vegetation crew too that comes up, and a lot of the tree removal, if there's hazardous trees or roadside vegetation that gets removed, they'll be the ones doing that. And also doing bridge work. We've got some bridges in the Tahoe area where they that need repairs during the winter as well. So let's go to the next slide. So one of the things we make sure in the summer with our snow removal operations that we're fully staffed, and we are. And then we also have a lot of training initiatives because, while a lot of the snow removal is kind of on the job training, we do things in the summer to make sure all of our operators know how to operate the equipment. Roads in Tahoe also look a lot different with snow. So, and especially the folks that are not up here all the time, we bring people who plow from the west side of the county up to do work to help our Tahoe crews, just to get familiar with the roads too. Another thing that's ongoing all through the summer and through the year is our equipment asset management. We have an equipment replacement plan that kind of guides a lot of our decisions, but we're repairing equipment, but then also we get a lot of new equipment delivered during the summer as well, including one that came last summer was that push plow is what we would call it, but it's got a snow plow and a sander there, kind of in the middle of your screen. And then one we're expecting, 2 years ago, the Board of Supervisors actually, we have regular funding that we use to replace all of our equipment, but there was some additional funding that the board dedicated to equipment replacement. And one of the things we bought was a new blower. And so we've got a new huge high-powered blower that's going to be delivered this summer as well. So looking forward to that. Another thing that, I'll say, even admit on this, maybe we haven't implemented as fast or even stumbled as far as the Where's My Plow app. If you go during storms to Ready Placer, you can see where our graders are located. But we've been working on enhancing our communications as to where plows are, and so we actually contracted with a new firm that's helping us set that up. And in fact, this kind of late this winter and this summer, we're installing GPS on all of our equipment, not just our graders, but snow plowers and our plows and some of our other just miscellaneous equipment. So it can all be online. The screenshot there on the kind of lower right-hand corner is a shot of that's in progress, not ready to roll out to the public yet, but all of our snow plow zones and things, it's all being as the GPS equipment is installed on our graders and snow blowers. We're testing it out. So our goal is to have this out next winter. So that's something to look forward to, and includes also some snowplow operator integrations too, which we're working on implementing, which probably won't be this year, but the following year. So that's all the stuff that happens in the summer that maybe you don't think about related to snow removal. So let's go to the next slide, Jeremy. The other thing that we're working on too is a countywide pavement program update. One of the things we do in road maintenance, we are always doing inspections, but actually this year we're upping our game. We actually are working with a firm to do mobile pavement inspections. So if you see I don't know if it'll look exactly like that gray Ford, but something like that driving around the Tahoe area, you'll know that they're doing pavement inspections. And so if you look kind of on the lower right-hand side, and I think everybody knows what poor or pavement that needs work looks like, but those are some examples. And that's what we're looking at with these trucks, is trying to quantify all that and really update all of our road assets so that we can actually discuss investment strategies and goals ultimately. And kind of the biggest thing we want to wrap our arms around is this thing, pavement condition index. And pavement condition index is a way that it's probably not a stretch to say most or all agencies really use to determine the health of their pavement. And it's a scale of 0 to 100. The higher scores you get, the better your pavement is. They're on the left-hand side, all the way down to 0, which is really, really poor pavement that needs to get reconstructed. So our countywide pavement and pavement condition index is 58, which we're kind of in the middle. And compared to other agencies, we're not the worst, we're not the best either. But the whole idea is to just wrap our arms around where do we stand with pavement and look at investments and really have a discussion about that. So this summer we're collecting the data, and by the end of the year, ultimately we should have some things to share, as well as some scenarios to talk about as well as far as investments. So let's go to the next slide. So with this summer's road maintenance plan, one of the things we've been doing the last couple of years and all the higher elevations is do targeted. We always do routine patching, but we actually have our own paver, and we have contracts to do. It was mentioned in the Caltrans presentation, dig outs. So we'll do focused dig outs on some of the areas with the worst pavements, and so that we're still kind of finalizing our plan. I might hate to volunteer this, but if you want to call in some bad pavement, you can call 530-745-7565. That's our main road line. But I know we'll be doing dig out repairs focused on specific areas all over the Tahoe area. The other thing that we do also is we have an annual pavement maintenance contracts. Some of them are surface treatments like slurries. and some of them are the other major contract is overlays that we do countywide. And so we have an overlay planned on the West Shore for Alpine Way and Holly Road planned for the summer. So that will be happening as well. The other big thing we do, and it's kind of special to the Tahoe area, at the very bottom of the slide, you'll see that big kind of truck with the hose attached to it. That's a Vector truck, or it's like a big vacuum type of truck. And so if you see that tooling around the Tahoe area, they're doing ditching and cleanouts, making sure that all of our drainage is ready for next winter. But one of the big things we're doing as well, a lot of the water quality features that the county and the county has installed, this piece of equipment will be going around and cleaning those out. Along with, we have these vaults with jellyfish filters is what they're called. Again, designed for stormwater protection and protect the lake. Those will be replaced and cleaned out all over the area as well. So I think the other things that'll happen that you'll see, roadside vegetation, tree removals, it's always something, and the signing and striping that I mentioned earlier. So those are all road maintenance activities that'll happen this summer. So with that, I think we can go to the next slide. And I'm going to hand it off to Seth Warren, who's our engineering manager in the Tahoe Engineering Division, to talk about, to kick us off on projects.
Sure. Thanks, Matt. So as Matt mentioned, I'm Seth Warren. I'm in our Tahoe Engineering Division, which is located in Kings Beach. We wanted to speak to you all about a number of our projects we have going to construction this summer, as well as those that are in the planning stages and some of our programs we have, including our parking management program. We'll actually have Andy speak to our first project, which is our next slide, as he's leading that project. So next slide, please.
Thanks, Seth and Matt. So first thing, like Seth said, we're going to talk about the Grove Street signal. So this is at Grove Street intersection in Tahoe City. There's going to be a lot of activity in Tahoe City this summer, although this particular portion of the project shouldn't present too many delays to traffic and things like that. Basically, this intersection is going to be signalized, but that full construction won't likely happen until 2026. What we're planning for the summer of 2025 is to put some underground infrastructure in place, basically some conduits under the highway before before Caltrans does their full paving project, so that we won't have to cut into the new pavement in 2026 to put in some of that conduit. So, but again, want everyone to know that this signalization project is moving forward. Like I said, we're planning to do the full signalization in 2026. That's going to provide some pretty big benefits to pedestrian traffic in the area, improve the safety for pedestrians, and then also improve some of the turning movements there at that intersection. So we're excited to see that project move forward. We can go to the next slide now.
And I'll piggyback on what Andy said, just to state that we want to get that conduit installed this summer so we can minimize traffic impacts on the locals there in Tahoe City. We would install a conduit as part of Caltrans deep lift pavement replacement there in Tahoe City. And then we would need to come back and cut through that intersection again next year, right through 28. We'd just be on some side streets. So hopefully mitigating some of those impacts. Fanny Bridge, I appreciate John with Caltrans speaking to this project. I'll talk about some of the benefits of the project. So hopefully people will be excited about it. It's an FHWA-led project. Placer County, along with TRPA and TCPUD, are funding partners. As you look at this image here, we're looking from the south side, looking north. And as John mentioned, the site construction is going to start in June of 2025. And one of the benefits of this project that it'll be a single span. The existing bridge is a multi-span bridge, and there's piers in the river. So as part of the bridge construction that takes place this summer, they're going to be removing those piers, and it'll be opening up the river so that there's no piers, as I mentioned. There will also be sidewalks and bike lanes on both sides of the bridge. In the existing condition, there's only a single sidewalk on the east side, and I don't believe there's any bike lanes. There's just about a 1.5 foot wide shoulder. And then there'll also be pedestrian crossings on the north and south sides. You can see one here, which is in a similar location as the existing signal. But now the new one will have signals on both sides, which can be interconnected with the existing traffic signals at the Y intersection. Supervisor Gustafson and John both spoke to no improvements at the Y are scheduled by Placer County during this summer. We do understand that there are some opportunities to do some landscaping that are being pursued by the local business association. We've coordinated with the local business association regarding access to the businesses in the area, as well as the impacts on parking. From what we understand, in relaying those concerns about parking to FHWA, there shouldn't be impacts on the parking. So the same number of stalls that exist today will be available during the summer events like the Wine Fest, as well as the Oktoberfest, which takes place in late September. Next slide, please. All right, Lower Sawtooth Trailhead. So this project area is located in Truckee in the Sierra Meadows, Ponderosa Palisades neighborhood off of Thielen Drive. It is an existing access point for Forest Road 06, which is a popular mountain biking area. I like to use it to go drive out to Big Chief, do some rock climbing. It's the first site that we will be developing or constructing as part of our North Tahoe Recreational Access Plan. On the left side, you see a kind of probably a small pixelated menu, but you can see some of the text is in yellow and some of it is in green. And the yellow sites are our first priority or first tier construction areas that we're planning improvements as part of this North Tahoe Recreational Access Plan. The star at the top of the image, that's where the Lower Sawtooth Trailhead is located. We're intending to go to construction and hopefully have it up before it gets busy out there. So our construction is scheduled for May 2025. It's being constructed using funding from the TOT TBID Dollars at Work program as part of an NTSCA approval of TOT dollars that also are approved by our Board of Supervisors. The intent of the project is not only to reduce sediment runoff from the existing condition. You kind of see in this image on the right that there's kind of a narrow 12-foot wide drive aisle that runs through the site, then just kind of dirt parking areas on the east and west side. Well, the intent is to add some pavement there so that those soils aren't eroding and flowing into groundwater, et cetera. Also, the intent is to mitigate some parking issues on Thielen Drive for those that tend to park there when the parking area here in the Lower Sawtooth is not available. And finally, once it is plowed, it can be plowed in winter. We'll be looking to identify funding sources to provide funding or provide a plowing funding for this parking area so we can have access to cross country, et cetera, during the winter months. Next slide, please. I'll turn it over to Zario.
Thank you, Seth. So I've been assisting with the parking management program for East Placer with consultation from Dixon Resources. I'm going to quickly go over this summer's parking plan for Kings Beach. So the objectives are to improve turnover and compliance in the time-limited parking spaces located along the Kings Beach commercial core. This includes the 15-minute and 2-hour parking locations. The new automatic license plate recognition equipment will be used to track and gather turnover data, and will also be used to enforce these time zones. In addition, the paid parking program will continue in the Kings Beach Christmas tree parking lot and has now been expanded to the Brook Avenue parking lot. And finally, a diverse and open stakeholder group is being created for future discussions about the parking program. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Zario. So now we're moving back over to another capital improvement project here. So this is segment 1 of the North Tahoe Trail. So North Tahoe Trail is what we call the overall effort to provide a paved path from Kings Beach all the way over to Tahoe City. So you can see in the map here on the right, the green areas are areas of paved path that already exist. We have 3 segments left to complete this open section that's left between Tahoe Vista and Dollard Point. And so what we're talking about for this summer is segment one. It's highlighted there in yellow at the top center of the image. So this segment of the paved trail will take you from the regional park in Tahoe Vista. It'll connect to the Pine Drop Trail, actually on the east side of the regional park. And then you can take that over into Carnelian Bay. It'll drop you off at Carnelian Bay Avenue, just north of Tripoli there in the neighborhood. And so this particular project, we're not starting until the fall of this construction season. And we expect to do some tree removal and some of the rough site grading, and then the paving and completion operations for the project would happen in 2026. So this particular project, though, shouldn't really present too much of an imposition on your drive times or anything like that. For most of the North Tahoe residents and visitors, you won't really notice that this is going on because it's kind of back up in the woods there. But we wanted to let everyone know anyway that we're moving forward with it. And this is another project that's funded by TOT, TBID dollars at work, as directed by the North Tahoe Community Alliance. So we really appreciate them recognizing the value of this project and routing some funding this way. So excited to get this one moving. All right, next slide, please. All right, so here's another project in Tahoe City. This is the Tahoe City Downtown Access Improvements Project. This is one that has been in the works for a number of years, for a long time now. And so for anyone that's not familiar with it, if you look at the image here on the right, it's actually in the northwest corner, basically, of the North Lake Boulevard and Grove Street intersection. So in the bottom right corner of the image is that portion of the intersection there, and then the Fat Cat restaurant and thrift store are there in the bottom right. Above that is the existing Grove Street parking lot. So that's the kind of light gray shaded area below the dog park. So that's the existing Grove Street parking lot. We're going to expand it over to the left where the shading is more of a darker gray. And so that'll provide additional parking, improved access for pedestrians. There's multiple driveway access points to this parking lot. And it'll really allow people to park there and access commercial destinations in downtown Tahoe City, as well as other recreation areas. So you can go to the dog park. Well, it's eventually going to be a skate park, but the ball fields there. You can also go down to the lake and visit some of those other recreational destinations in the area. This project also includes a public restroom and then also a paved path, which will go from Grove Street and head on down to the southwest over to the Tahoe City Lodge property. And so for this project, similar to North Tahoe Trail Segment 1, we are going to be starting in the fall of this construction season, and we are intending to do some of the underground utility infrastructure, some of the rough site grading, but the final completion won't happen until 2026, when we can get pavement and some of the other landscaping and things like that in place. And again, we don't expect this project to be have much of an impact on drive times, commutes, things like that. But everyone should still be aware that this is going on. And like I said, this one's been in the works for a long time, so we're excited to get it moving forward. Again, this is another one that was funded with TOT, TBID dollars as routed to us by the NTCA. So you're getting to see some of those local funds being put to use here right in our North Lake Tahoe area. So we're excited to have this one moving forward. With that, I think we can move to the last slide, and I'll pass it back over to Seth again.
Sure. Thanks, Andy. So this is the State Route 89 and State Route 267 Transit Priority Lane project. Recently, we presented the Strategic Implementation and Phasing Plan to the Board of Supervisors on the April 1st during their Tahoe meeting. Obviously, probably may have heard that due to our big snowstorm, it was held in Auburn, but we were presented up in Tahoe, and we hope a lot of you had the chance to either watch or come and attend. But it was a great presentation. You can see here on the right side, it's there's 3 segments shown: segment 1, 2, and 3. It's not necessarily the order of which segments might be built, but it's just the areas of study, right? The areas of study include State Route 267 from Schaefer Mill Road to North Star Drive, and then on State Route 89 from West River Street down to Tahoe City. We had, as part of the Strategic Implementation and Phasing Plan, we looked at 2 alternatives that had been looked at as part of the Resort Triangle Transportation Plan, and honed in on one alternative which includes adding new bus transit only lanes on the outside of the corridors, as you can see here in this cross section at the bottom of the screen, with passenger vehicles through lanes as the interior lanes. And in most areas, there would also be some shoulders to provide areas for Caltrans to perform law enforcement as well as snow removal operations, et cetera. As part of that presentation, the board of supervisors approved the Public Works Department to move forward with the outside lanes alternative. So we're thankful for that and excited for the next steps. Our next phases include traffic data collection and preparation of Caltrans programming documents. Traffic data collection, we're hoping to start this summer and perform it through winter 2026. We feel that'd be really critical to securing the grant funding that will be needed to take this project to construction and down the line. It'll be a long process. There are several phases of Caltrans programming documents and project approvals, as well as preparation of the plan specs and estimate. But we're thankful for the NTCA funding we've received to date that helped fund the strategic plan. And we look forward to next steps and continuing to share the progress in this project with the public. And I believe that ties up our presentation for tonight. So Public Works thanks you all. And I believe on our next page, we have Andy and my phone numbers, but I'm sure we can share Matt and Zario's as well, as if anyone would like to reach out to them about their portions of the presentation. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Seth and Matt and Andy and Zario. Appreciate the information tonight. Couple questions for you. First off, we have a question about, can we initiate that temporary signal that we did several years ago at Grove Street? I'm not sure which one of you wants to take that on.
All right, I can answer that one. Yeah,
Okay.
so with all of the construction that Caltrans is going to be doing through that corridor this summer, a lot of that area is going to be under traffic control anyway. And so we don't plan to implement the temporary signal this summer. And then hopefully by next summer, we'll have the permanent signal going in. So we're not planning to implement the temporary signal at any point from here on out.
Okay, and will we still have our contract for the flaggers at various times during the summer?
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. So we will have the pedestrian flaggers in Kings Beach and in Tahoe City, as we have for the last 5 or 6 years or so. Of course, at Grove Street, there may be some I don't know, additional adjustments they have to make due to the construction happening there. But we do have that contract activated for this summer again. So yes.
Great, thank you. And then the next question is, are we considering paid parking for the Tahoe City access improvements, the parking lot behind Grove Street there, or off of Grove Street?
All right, so I'll start off with this one, but Zario, feel free to jump in if you know more than I do. But at this point, we're not considering that for that Tahoe City expanded Grove Street parking lot. I mean, it could happen in the future, certainly, but for the time being, we're mainly focusing on Kings Beach as far as paid parking is concerned. So, like I said, Zario can correct me if that's wrong, but that's the current info as I know it.
That's the same info that I understand. It hasn't been discussed yet.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll reconsider as we look at the success in Kings Beach and how well that's worked. Hopefully the businesses in Tahoe City will see that could be very helpful to them, as well as a revenue generator for the street improvements and other facilities in the downtown area. So we'll bring it back, and hopefully they'll look at the success we've had in Kings Beach and continue to have as an opportunity to learn from that for our future in Tahoe City. I don't see any other questions. I know this has been a huge amount of information. I want to thank Caltrans again and our Department of Public Works for joining us tonight and presenting. If you have any questions, any of you on, please email my office or call or email these individuals that you see from the agencies, and we'll get answers to your questions. This is going to be a tough summer. There's no doubt about it that we're going to have a lot of work getting to and from Tahoe from westbound locations. Not so much, it sounds like from the eastbound from Reno, but coming from the Bay Area or Sacramento or Western County. And then once we arrive, Tahoe City, and then the broadband work continuing is going to be a challenge. Sounds like some other projects. I know a critical issue for everybody is fire evacuation. And I want to assure you all that we work closely, all these agencies work closely with local law enforcement. And if there is an emergency, those roads are opened and made passable immediately to get people out of the basin and out of harm's way. So want to assure you of that. They all work very well with CHP and our sheriff to make sure that occurs. But if I've talked long enough, I still don't see any other questions. So I'm sure everybody has better things to do tonight than look at us on this. But do prepare for your summer and think about alternatives, time your travel. It does reduce frustration when you know what's coming and can travel earlier or later to the destinations you want, or ride your bike or walk, but wear a helmet when you ride your bike, especially those e-bikes. So thank you all and appreciate the time tonight and look forward to seeing you. If you can't make it, we do have a Discuss and Discover event at the North Tahoe Event Center on April 30th, live and in person, and we'll be there again to answer questions as well. So thanks everyone, and I really appreciate the time.